Hello, and welcome to another episode of Self-Improvement for Women. I am your host, Hope Long, and today I have the queen of branding. She is an expert in all things branding, and I will have you know, your logo and your branding are so different. So I have Jennifer Yassen here, and she is going to give you guys the 411 on what it is, how to do it, and why it's so important. So Jennifer, I'm so glad you're here today.
Oh,
Hi.
yeah. Hi, thank you. I know I've been waiting for this. I'm really excited that we're getting to do this now.
Yes. So obviously, I know you're all about the brand and what it means and how it's important. But let's start off let's talk about how you came into this space and this expertise and how it developed into something you're so passionate about.
Yeah, I love this question because my journey has been full of twists and turns, like I'm sure many others' journey has been. So I started my career in music. I always wanted to be a singer, and then I always had stage fright. So I thought, I'm gonna open up my own record label one day and maybe be an entertainment lawyer, like go all. So that's how I started my career in music. And when I started my career in music, I was part of an innovations team where we were developing new business opportunities for the artists and all of the label groups. And like any innovations team, like marketing, the first things to get cut. And so our team dismantled. And at that point, I left and I went into the music business, the fashion industry, for another startup that was, making waves at the time. And really throughout my career, I stayed within fashion, like different realms of fashion, but I was always reporting to executives or CEOs as part of growing the business. So, what that meant was whether it was doing business development, new building marketing teams, building partnerships, and how we could always take the business to the next level. And I was always passionate about how can we make this world a better place? Because ultimately, that was always my driving force since I was a little girl. I always wanted to change the world in some monumental way, saving the planet and animals, and really making sure brands and corporations understood that their actions have an impact. And, I always thought about the bigger picture. And naturally so, because I was always part of the bigger picture, looking at the company from a 30,000-foot view.
Mhm.
And then, so throughout my career, I have built many brands, including several celebrity brands. And then I left corporate America at the end of 2019, and my life did a 180. I also went through some personal challenges where I don't have to go into that, but basically my life did a complete 180. So I hired a career coach and I was like, what is next for me? And at that point, I was still trying to figure out, what do I do? Because my career was everything. I wanted to really make a difference, not only in the lives of myself, but others. And so I decided to launch my own marketing agency. And that launched a few weeks before the pandemic. And so the journey up until this point has really been understanding the importance of owning your story and owning who you are. And yes, I can do all aspects of marketing, but my real passion is understanding your story, your greater purpose, your why, because ultimately, like, that is the driving force of your business. That's going to ensure that you stay true to who you are so you don't have to copycat someone else. Because frankly, working in corporate America and then working for startups and like all different sizes of business at different stages of their growth, ultimately, what I always saw is that they were always looking outside of themselves and looking at what someone else was doing, what this brand was doing, how can we copy that because that'll work for us. And ultimately, like, you're forgetting like the really special aspect of who you are.
Yeah.
Brings
I'm
me here.
Yeah, I know, I totally understand that. And like And that we had just talked about this. I'm, diving really deep right now into my why and like what it all means and like what I want to do, um and my story. And so, my whole recovering alcoholic stuff, like all of that very much ties into why I want to help women with their confidence, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be broken and shattered and in a million pieces, and like you're trying to glue everything back together, and it's harder than you think. Like everybody always has these great inspirational stories like, oh yeah, I went from 0 to 6 figures. I, came up and did this and did that. There's a lot of work that goes into that. And
Yep.
it's hard to do alone. And so that is part of like what I'm like trying to do, is make sure that these women are not alone in trying to build their confidence and build their businesses and do something, prove to themselves, because I think we do this as women a lot, prove our worth to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's hard to do that alone. And so like that has been kind of my journey on that side of really figuring out why I'm doing the things I want to do and why it's so important to me, right?
Yeah.
um
Especially if
and
you struggle with self-worth, right? Like you trying to prove it to yourself is the never-ending cycle.
yes, yeah,
And there will always be circumstances that will show up that will prove that you're not worthy. Because until you actually solidify that you're worthy, you'll never be worthy.
right, right. um and so for the women in the audience at home, your brand, as you guys are building your businesses and you are venturing into entrepreneurship, and you know for a fact you want to make more money, you want more time with your kids, you want this and that, those are all important reasons. um but I think you'll find that a lot of entrepreneurs decide to go into business because they want to help somebody,
Yeah.
because yeah, right, and that's like the basis of it. um and it's your brand is not just like your logo or the pretty pictures or like your initials and like all these cover photos and photo shoots and stuff like that. That it's a part of it, but right, but like it's not the whole thing. It goes a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
um
You want me to
so
speak to that?
huh,
Did you want me to speak to that?
yes,
Okay. Yes. And as part of the process of what you're doing right now. So, entrepreneurs, all businesses start because they see a problem. They either see a problem that they want to help fix or solve a need, or they see a desire that needs to be filled. People buy based off of a need or a want. Those are the only two reasons, essentially. So, when you start a business, chances are you see something that no one else does at this stage of your life. And so you want to create that. And so, in order to do that, you need to talk about why you started. Your why is going to drive everything that you do. Your story is going to drive everything that you do. And before anything can exist externally, it has to start internally. And that's why you always have to go back to who you are, why you do what you do, who you serve, what is the message that you want to get across, what is your bigger vision, meaning how does the world exist, or what does the world look like because of your existence, because you decided to take this action and create this business. And then what is your mission? Your mission is the action that you're doing, like what your business function is, in order to move you closer to that vision. This is hard work. There's a reason why you need to build a strong house foundation. Your house cannot sustain if it doesn't have the strong foundation, the four walls, right? And how you decorate it inside is amazing, but that doesn't mean anything until you build a strong foundation, an understanding of who you are and why you exist. And so your logo and your visual representation is purely just a representation of who you are, like who you say you are, because your brand is not who you say you are, it's how you are perceived. And if you want to be perceived right in the way that you want to be perceived, you best be showing up authentically. You best be showing up as yourself. Use your story. That is the one USP that's going to separate you from everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important too, like this can seem like a lot and it can seem kind of overwhelming, but it's actually like a really joyful journey when you're
Mhm.
discovering all this stuff, and it like excites you to get out of bed in the morning because you know your mission. You
Yeah,
know, like you know what I mean? It's like a joyful journey to go on.
absolutely. Yeah.
So like, can you give maybe a couple of like examples of businesses that that we all kind of like know and are familiar with that have like excellent branding?
Yeah. I mean, look at Patagonia, right? Like their mission and their vision has rang true from the beginning. They haven't changed what they're doing in terms of what that vision is. They ultimately want to, not only save like the outdoors, but allow you to thrive, right? Subaru, another one, a really great brand. Look at who they partner with, like different charities, the National Parks Foundation, um, Starbucks, great branding. I mean, everything it's not about the product, and that's what I really want to stress. Your business isn't about what you sell. It isn't about your service. It isn't about the product. It's about why you sell it and who you help. And you can make money doing anything. The money is just purely energy that flows from you solving a need or a want.
Yeah.
And so, like I always say, like, don't focus on the sell. Don't focus on the sale. Don't focus on that outcome. Focus on how you can best serve. The Reformation, another, great brand. And again, even though these brands may evolve visually and, their branding may alter or change, because your brand can change, because ultimately your story evolves. You learn more things as you grow. So don't be afraid of change. You want the evolution. But the point is, just like a seed that, grows a tree or grows a flower, right? Like the DNA of that seed doesn't change.
Right.
And so
Right.
you want to make sure to stay true to who you are and why you started. And that mission may grow and evolve, but it doesn't change the fact about why you started.
Right. Right. Oh, I love it. Love it so much. So what kind of advice do you have for women that are starting out in entrepreneurship, and that really need to develop these pillars that are going to drive their business? What kind of advice do you have for them?
Yeah. So ultimately, like sit with yourself and understand, why do you want to do what you want to do? Like, what is not only the greater vision for the world and who you help, but also what's the greater vision for yourself? Because it all starts with us. As entrepreneurs, our business is going to be driven by how strong our self understanding is, how strong our self identity is, how well do we know who we are and what we want, because that's going to be the differentiating factor. Like, you are the differentiating factor. And so really understanding, getting clear on like the who, what, why, when, where, right? All of those things, and understanding what your greater vision is, what your greater mission is, who do you want to serve, and why do you want to serve them? And look to see, obviously, in the market, right? Get inspiration there. But look to your experience, look to your story, look to see what lessons you have learned and how it has shaped you, because ultimately you're here to collapse time for someone else. You've gotten here probably through a lot of hard work and a lot of trial and error, and that trial and error can be shared with someone else to collapse their journey, because ultimately when they use what you have learned, they're going to also have challenges along the way that they're going to collapse time for someone else. And ultimately, we're just helping continue the cycle of servant leadership. Essentially, we are serving to lead the way, to light the way. We are all given with a higher life's purpose, whatever God you believe in, whoever that is for you. And the more we stay in alignment with that, the more we'll find fulfillment, joy, and success.
Yes. And when you say sit with it, I want to point out that for me, I've also been really heightened awareness of who I am day to day and the things that I'm saying to people. And I'm reflecting on conversations that I have and like the point, the message, the things that, you know, I get excited about. Like you like just have a level of awareness. Like you need to get to a level of awareness of self and um even just silly conversations like one-on-one at the gas station with a stranger. Like
Mhm.
how do you approach this stranger? That is going to tell you what kind of outlook that you have. What how do you perceive the world, right?
Mhm.
And that also goes into your brand. It goes into who and why you are, right?
Mhm.
Um I had to say that because this week has been like really big for me on that. That is awesome. And so there's many branches, right? There's different pillars. Is that right for your brand?
Yes,
And
there's always pillars, meaning like what are you going to talk about? What are you an expert in? And what are people going to come to you for?
okay, I gotcha. Yes. And I think I watched you very briefly in a mastermind. I didn't get to finish it yet, but I got a little taste of it. And you started talking through those pillars, right? How can people reach out to you and find out more and where can they go to talk to you?
Yes. So you can find me. I hang out on Instagram a lot at Jennifer Yassen. You can also email me at Jennifer at the Freed Agency. My website's thefreedagency.com. And so any questions that you have, I'm happy to answer. Yeah. And then to your pillars, like it really just comes down to your story, your what you're an expert in. And again, you'll be surprised at how they all connect because you are the connector. You are living proof of that connection. So it really is important to understand like who you are and what you can speak on in order to help the people that you're meant to help, because you're not meant to help everyone. You can't frankly help everyone, and when you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And so it's really important to remind yourself that the right ones are going to show up and need you. And you need to remind yourself that the more you make space for the right ones, the less the wrong ones show up. Because if you start serving the wrong ones, you're not actually helping the people that you're meant to help.
That's true. That is so true. And so that and I want to speak to that a little bit
Mhm.
before we finish. Your ideal audience, right? We talk a lot about that in this show. We talk about finding your people, finding your ideal audience. And
Mhm.
what I love what you said, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a connection there. There's an intimacy between you and your ideal client that only you guys share.
Mhm.
And so it is finding those people. I talk a lot about like building a Facebook group and you know some of these Facebook groups 64,000 people, right?
Yeah.
But they all have like one thing in common, right? What what we what we really essentially want is we would rather have 200 women that we actually connect with, that we actually speak with,
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
we know about their dogs, their kids, their, you know, potluck on Sundays they go to, those kinds of things
Yep.
versus 64,000 people that we just let post in our groups and promote themselves, right?
Right.
The, the,
Absolutely.
the intimacy is very, very important. Um, and you're right, we can't help everybody, but when you do help one person, that person is going to go on to help another person. And it's this
Exactly.
beautiful cycle that you talked about. And I just love it so much.
Yeah. I'm glad that you also brought that up about the intimacy and connection, because ultimately that's why we're in business, is to build relationships, and because that's how we help people. You can't help someone that doesn't trust you. And this is another important key aspect of branding is, in marketing, you build the like, know, and trust factor, right? And that's how you nurture your audience in order to help them convert. But ultimately, no one's going to buy from you if they don't trust you. And this is why authenticity is so important in understanding who you are, because ultimately the foundation of any relationship is trust. People
Mhm.
have to trust you. They have to trust that you are who you say you are, and that you say what you mean and you mean what you say, and especially online today. And you need to understand, everyone's always focused on, how do I get more awareness? How do I get people to see me? How do I do this? How do I do that? Ultimately, if even if you got everyone to see you, if you don't have a strong understanding of who you are and what your brand offers, and you are consistently showing up as that every day, you're going to build all this awareness for what? You're not going to retain them. It's sort of when brands want to focus on paid advertising and the ROI and getting the customers in the door. Cool, but what are you actually doing to retain them in your business? Because 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers day in, day out. And so really, it's like you're going to have to work extra hard and pay more money to acquire new people in your door every single day. It's more energy. Why not nurture the people that you have and grow from there? Let them work for you, because people that love you are going to spread the message.
Right. Absolutely. And you can see examples of this every single day. Every single
Hmm.
day. When I go to TJ Maxx. I'm like, hey, you guys, I got this great deal. Da 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 da. And I love TJ Maxx. I have been a fan of TJ Maxx for a long time. I worked at a TJ Maxx when I was younger, right? So part of their mission and what they do, I think is amazing. So I go there, I shop, and then I spread the word. I'm like, hey, they have this great deal. I'm posting pictures, free advertising for them, right?
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of commercials for them. You don't see a lot of, marketing strategy from them. They just are who they are. And it's very similar. Like, you don't see a lot of commercials for Starbucks because they just are who they are, and that has happened very naturally for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, a lot goes into this, but I think especially for solopreneurs and for people that are just starting out, business owners really need to understand the importance of branding, positioning, knowing who you're speaking to. Because if you're not selling, there's a mismatch between what you're saying and then what you're doing and how you're showing up. Because once there's clarity and there's synergy and there's resonance, people are going to buy. That ultimately, the buy is the end goal. There's a reason why the funnel is like large at the top and small at the bottom, right? You have to work them down. You have to, that's why you have several pillars that you speak to. People are going to follow you for different reasons, and you build up that like, know, and trust factor. They understand who you are, and they're going to come to you for that need or desire that they want to fill. And ultimately, even if they don't come, maybe they'll refer you to someone that they know needs it. And that referral is so valuable.
we
So
we refer all the time,
we
like.
refer all the time when we love it, right? Like we naturally do it, like what you were just saying. And that's the most authentic referral. And my coach said it best, because we were talking about how, brands are always focused on, how do I get more business and growth and growth and growth, right? And that's all important. Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, it's like sort of like the dopamine hit. Like you're just like getting people in the door, getting all these sales. And like, for what? What is it for? Like ultimately, like if you're not making the world a better place and it's only making your pocket bigger, at some point, like what is that for?
Right, right. And it becomes just a lesser. I don't know how to explain that. Like, if there's no passion or assistance behind what you do, and the money doesn't matter. Like, the money
Right?
is just
Sure.
irrelevant.
Exactly, because like you can't take it with you. Like
Yeah.
you can't take this with you. So ultimately, if you're not using your money to make your life better so you can make other lives better, what is the point? It's like we're doing all of this stuff that degrades the environment and degrades, the life of people. And ultimately, who's better off here? None of us are, frankly, because when we're hurting others, it comes back to us. You may not see it this year, 5 years, 10 years. Your children may see it, your children's children may see it. And everything we do right now is impacting the lives, not only this generation, but our generations that are going to precede us.
Yes. And that speaks to the saying, what you do today is who you like, what you're working towards 6 months from now, right? So like,
Exactly.
or what happens 6 months from now. So when you're establishing your brand, you're building your business, you're doing the things, you have to keep those things in mind, right? Like, who are you actually affecting? And it just has to be an innate understanding that the money will come when you are understood, when you understand yourself, and when you are portraying authentically who you are and why you are and
Yeah.
how you want to help, right? The money will
Yeah.
come.
Yeah. Because I heard this sermon the other day that it was, where it was using an example of a boy shouting, like think of yourself in like the Grand Canyon. And whatever you shout, you hear back. It's repeating back to you because ultimately who we are is being mirrored back to us. So if we think we're not worthy, if we don't think we're important, if we don't think we matter subconsciously, like the real us, all circumstances are going to show up that prove that to us. So the minute that we decide that we matter, our voice matters, that what I have to say matters, and we show up, the right people will be attracted to you. That's why attraction is the most important aspect to your marketing, is by being just who you are attracting the right people to show up. Now, how you think it's supposed to happen may not unfold exactly how you thought about it, but allow it to be this or something better.
Yes. And it's a very organic thing, right? You can't pay people to buy from you, right? In a sense. And you can't pay people to buy into, what you want. Like,
People think they can, but like,
yeah. Yeah. And you see it online a lot, like especially in the online space. One of the most, disturbing things that happens is, you get a friend request and they immediately DM you with an offer, but you don't know this person. You don't know who they are, what they're about. You don't know anything about them. So like, why? I'm not going to buy from that person. I'm going to buy from the person that I've been talking to on and off for 6 months. I've seen them in the online space for about 6 months or so.
Mhm.
I've participated, I've engaged a little bit, and we've sent a couple DMs back and forth. That's the person that I'm going to buy from versus this complete stranger, because I don't know this person. I don't like that they've done that. They hit me with an offer, and now I don't trust them, right?
Yeah.
So it all, like, it comes full circle, right? um yes. Oh my gosh, just so much on branding, so much.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There is so much. And again, and I said this earlier, it can seem overwhelming, but it's not. When Jennifer says sit with it, just sit with it and it'll come to you. And like, when you get that clarity, the money will come. And no, it's not your logo, and it's not it's not your profile picture or any of those things. Those are a byproduct of, they're just a representation, a visual representation of what it really is, or and who you really are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to evolve. If you don't cringe at your stuff that you did like a year ago or 2 years ago or even 3 years ago, you're not growing.
Right.
I cringe at my last website and that I made, and I just, redid this one, and I'm like, already I want to change it. So like the truth is, like, as we grow and evolve, it's really important to understand like your visual representation will too, but that doesn't mean you don't stay true to your heritage. I mean, if you think about all of the iconic brands that have been around for hundreds of years, they're doing one thing well that they always do. And yeah, they may make additional products, or I mean, if you think about like whether you love it or hate it, Coca-Cola, right? They have all different aspects of Coca-Cola, but their main product is the main product that they buy. Oh, how weird is that, right? Like that, Coke Zero or like any other Coke that they have made. And so people, you need to remember that what you want to do is something that the world needs, and that calling is on your heart for a reason. And only you can truly answer it in the way that you see it. No one else can bring that to life but you.
Jennifer, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You are like such a wealth of knowledge. You guys, gonna put I put all of her links here at the bottom for you. So jump on IG, give her a follow. If you have questions, reach out. She would be happy to talk to you guys. And thank you so much again, Jennifer. I love talking to you.
I know. Thank you. This was great. I know. I hope we can talk again. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. All right, you guys, we will see you on the next one.
Yes.